Welcome back, everyone, to Achievement Hunting 101, the go-to podcast for individuals who enjoy both achievement hunting and three-digit palindrome numbers. This is level 347, a number that could be easily made into an equation with a plus and equal sign. He is X the hero, plus I am ElroyOMJ, and together we equal your host. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, and actually you stole my thunder because I was going to say, if you did not, hey, 3 plus 4 equals 7. We haven't had a level like that in quite a while. Off the top of my head, the last one would have been, well, that we did would have been 325, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Have we been
I didn't
doing
actually put any thought or prep work into that, but I think 325 would have been the last one.
We'll say that's right. That sounds like it could be accurate. I'm sure that 336 was not us. And
see, that's an even number,
yeah,
right? That
yeah,
wasn't us.
yeah. I think it checks out.
All right, cool.
So what's new in your life these days?
Not much, and I'm gonna make fun of Super Bob because he doesn't listen and admits that he doesn't listen, so he'll never hear me making fun of him. But he's like, X, you should probably advertise Planet Retro video games on the podcast. That would be good advertising. I was like, Bob, I pretty much do every week, or every 2 weeks, as it may be. And then everyone just kind of piled on and made fun of him for brazenly admitting that he doesn't listen to the show. But I do have an update on that front for anyone who missed my announcement in Discord. I don't think I said it on Discord. I said it in the stream, and now I'm saying it on the podcast. We are officially going to be streaming online thrice weekly. So Monday morning for a quicker one, probably 2-3 hours, and then Tuesday morning for another quicker one, 2-3 hours, and then Thursday will be our usual longer as needed one. But I sort of suspect we won't need to stream for like 7 hours on Thursday anymore if we're going 3 times a week. So I'm sort of, I don't mind doing a 7-hour stream. I really like it, but my voice is a little hoarse by hour 5 or 6, So I think Thursday won't be as long. But yeah, anyway, if you are one of my Discord friends and whatnot regulars, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, guys. So check us, me, Ed, Dan, Steve, X, whatever the heck you want to call me, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday on Whatnot. I'll see you guys there. Hurrah!
Awesome, man. Well, for me, I'm just finishing up soccer. We're kind of getting close to the end of the year, and so we're doing the whole soccer thing. Had 3 games this week, and so that's been kind of hard to schedule with you because of that. And then this weekend,
just to touch on scheduling, right? We have 2 whole weeks to coordinate this. It's not a secret, right? Al and Wild West do even weeks. Right. We do odd weeks. So we have 2 weeks, right? But the two of us have just been so busy the past 2 weeks. It means nothing as you're listening because the podcast happened and is or will be, released on time successfully. But in 2 weeks, we have about a 2-hour window that actually overlaps, and we are recording in the midst of that 2-hour window.
And it is not convenient for either of us.
Yeah, so, I've been busy. It's a mess, man. But
right, we have a 2-hour window that is very inconvenient, but it's what we got, so we're gonna make it work. So but yeah, so we would normally record on the weekend, but I'm out of town this weekend. I'm going to Atlanta, and we're going to be doing I have a friend. I got a new bro that we do a lot of things. He's my line dancing bro. And so we're going down to do the Tough Mudder. We did one in Nashville last year, and he enjoyed it. So it was his first one. So he wanted to do another one. So we're doing the Atlanta one. That's the closest one before the Nashville one. So it's, we're going to go down and do that. And then it came out that he had never been to really a real amusement park. He says he 30s. And
really, wow, okay,
yeah, like mid 30s, mid to late 30s, and the only roller coaster he's ever ridden, and this is totally Memphis, is the Zippin' Pippin. So I don't know if anybody actually knows what the Zippin' Pippin is, but it's like one of the oldest roller coasters in the United States, and it was in Memphis for the longest of times, and And it was kind of like, if you're from Memphis, you have to have said you've ridden the Zip and Pippin. It was, I think, Elvis's favorite roller coaster. It's just had a lot of history in the city. So of course, like everything in the city, they closed down the amusement park that it was at and then sold it to Green Bay. So if you want to ride the Zip and Pippin now, you can
Really?
ride it. You can ride it out in Green Bay somewhere at some park
What
out
the
there.
heck?
I know.
How do you
So
just move a whole roller? How do you, not even just that, the whole amusement park?
right, yeah, you would
What?
think that. Yeah, and yeah, Zip and Pippin's no more in Memphis. So yeah, its
That's
history
kind of cool. I
ended.
gotta look that up actually.
Yeah, but it was like I think it's considered one of like the two oldest in the United States. I'm not really sure, but it's really an old roller coaster. So, but point being is that it's not a modern one by any stretch, and it's not very thrill seeking, I guess is the right word.
Is it
At
one of
least it
those like
was.
janky,
You're
terrifying but
right,
boring
yeah.
old wooden ones?
Yeah,
Is
one
that
of
what
the
you're
old wooden
getting at?
ones. Yeah, old wooden roller coasters. They warp in the sun. I'm quite the roller coaster enthusiast, and roller like the wooden ones. Yeah, if it's more than like a few years old, you gotta stay away from that, or else you're gonna need like a kidney replacement at the end. It's and those things beat the crap out of you, man. Especially if you sit in the back row like you're supposed to, and it's horrid. I there was one that, so I grew up going to Six Flags in Texas, and that was, we had the Shockwave, the Judge Roy Scream, and then the Texas Giant came into town, and that was like the biggest the biggest wooden roller coaster in the United States at the time. And boy, that thing runs smooth back when I was a little youngster. I go back 20 years later, and I have no desire to ride the Texas Giant ever again. That thing beat the crap out of me. Oh my gosh, it's just awful because it just warps. Anyway, so
Hang
we're
on, while we're on roller coasters,
sure,
you say you're supposed to sit in the back?
absolutely, yeah, because you get the whip, like because the front goes and then you got that extra oomph, and it's a much better ride. Except for it's terrifying on wooden roller coasters because all the misalignments land in the back, as well as sometimes it feels like you've left the track because it's not just supposed to be that way. On the metal coasters, it's not as bad, but you still get that extra little oomph whip of the weight in the front going down first, and then it just kind of like pulls you. I guess the extra torque. Maybe it's not real, but I can tell a difference. So the front's like the
Interesting.
worst. Yeah, the front's the
Well,
worst.
see, I always go for the front, so you get the
Yeah, it's
best view,
well,
you get the best experience.
yeah. I mean,
No
it
one's
does
gonna
have the best
puke on you,
view.
you know.
Right. You'll be the puker, not the pukey, and you do get a good view. But I'm in it for the thrill ride of it, and the thrill aspect of it, and getting that rush. And it's the front's not the place to be because it's the back's dragging you down, and so you get the slower experience. So yeah,
Interesting. I will have
yeah,
to look up the physics on this, but
right.
neither that's not podcast discussion, but now
It
I'm
it
intrigued.
sounds like an update on
Yeah.
349. So speaking of updates, any updates on your side?
I got nothing. As
It's
was
per
just
normal.
mentioned, I have been very busy the past 2 weeks, which is coming to an end, but my April tutoring schedule was just insane. My juniors, the last test that they're taking is Saturday, May 3rd. May 3rd? May 2nd? What the heck is that Saturday? Saturday, May 3rd is the
Mhm.
last test many of my students will ever take. So they all just want to cram in extra sessions. I had
Gotcha.
students on spring break that reschedule. So yeah, just the last 2 weeks of tutoring have been a nightmare. I have not even like I'm missing some. No, I have literally no updates. I don't think I've actually played a video game in the past 2 weeks since we last recorded. So
Spoiler.
yeah, spoiler, I'm digging into the archives a little bit.
Oh,
I
okay.
have, yeah, man, it's been that bad, but it's all over
All
next
right.
week. So
All
that's
right.
my update, I guess. In another week and a half, actually, I get to enjoy life again.
And you'll have an update. Yeah. Your update is that
Yeah,
you will soon have updates. So, well, I always have updates. So here you go. I'll just several little
here
ones.
he goes with the rapid fire.
Yeah, it's rapid fire. I got like 4 of them. So first one is big helmet level 345. If that trick is in fact against TA guidelines and it'll get you banned, then please don't do it. And if that is the case, I retract the nugget. But we did have a nice discussion whether or not it was the second profile glitch or not. I don't think it is,
I
but
don't think it is. I mean, we
yeah,
literally, or I think I interrupted you last week to clarify that what you
right,
just described is not. And then some people
yeah,
voiced concern, which is totally fair because
right,
you don't
yeah.
want to
So
do anything sketchy, right? But
I don't know enough about it to know enough about it. So there you go.
no, you still have to do the action. You still have to perform the thing to unlock it. So
Yes.
I think you're good.
All
By
right.
my
Well,
understanding, I think you're ready to rock and roll.
well, if you don't want to chance it, then don't do that nugget. Okay. So there you go. I truly don't know if it is or not. I just thought it was interesting and worth mentioning. So, and I thought it was kind of cool. So you can, yeah, whatever. I thought it was kind of a really good carry. But all right. And the next update is Wonder Blade. It was part of my spring cleaning update that I've been working on some beat 'em ups. I got the completion, which I was really proud of. There's a couple really sneaky hard chivos in this one. There was a really tough 3.5 ratio one on it called Mill Edition, where you had to like cut off 2 tentacles without getting hit on this one boss. And it got a little intense. At one point I was just mashing buttons as fast as I could, hoping that I think the game felt sorry for me and it gave it me credit, even though there
Oh
wasn't
man.
two, yeah, there wasn't 2 tentacles that hit the ground. So, but it popped somehow. I just went apey on that controller and it popped, and I was never so happy to see one as that was there because that was getting nowhere in a hurry. But anyway, so I got the completion on that. I also got the completion on
Congrats.
that. Yeah, thank you. I got the completion. Here's the not congrats. I got the completion on TMNT Mutants Unleashed trash game.
Is
It's
this
still,
the friend em up
yeah, the friend them
one?
up, fillings
Okay.
them up. Yeah, yeah, and
Feelings em up, that's what it was.
uh,
That's what it was.
yeah, the game is still trash. But I did want to tell you the update is that I told you that I was concerned about the ooze canisters. That I wasn't going to get them all in the first run, and that I was going to have to replay the entire game. And so apparently in the forum, you could find a cool little note on that, which is that when you start New Game Plus, you keep all your stats. And then there's certain canisters you get as part of the story, I guess. It's not really like the collected. If you collected them, if they were just sitting out in the stage, they're not going to be there. But there are rewards for certain quests. And so you do get those and it counts. So you basically have plenty of canisters to work with here, and you'll get those on the New Game Plus pretty fast. Unfortunately for me, there was a graffiti one that is for getting all the graffiti in the game. I should have looked at the guide. I did not look at any guides. And so there's 15 of them, and they basically span the entire story of the game. And I was missing 2. So I did have to replay pretty much the entire game. And the ones I was missing was the one that was like the 7th one to find, and then there was one that was the 14th. Oh God, it was brutal. So
Of course, right? Yeah.
I had to go all the way through that game. All right, so those
So
are all the
is that one
gaming updates.
if you followed a guide from the get-go,
Oh,
that
it would
would
have
be
been
a
fast. Yeah,
non-issue, right?
it would have been a non-issue, and I would
Okay.
have got those extra ooze canisters right off the bat, and I could have shaved off another 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, it was bad. I was really committed to the completion just because I never wanted to see this game on my tag again. So that was ill-fated though. And then lastly, Achievement Flex is only 3 months away in July 24th. And at this point, it's really kind of hard to plan.
Less than 3 months away.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to plan at this point because I don't know how many people are coming. I got a lot of people saying they're coming, but registrations pretty much haven't gone up any, but a lot of people say they're coming. So I can't tell if I need to be being proactive and getting more stuff or if it's going to be a small scope. So I don't know. But I do have an update in the sense that the Cajun place, I went to there. That's a place down the street. If you like eggplant's hard to cook, man. Have you ever tried cooking eggplant?
I have. I usually just
God, it's hard,
douse it
man.
in oil and some spices and roast it in the oven.
Man, it's so easy to burn. You got to hit it just right, and I suck at cooking eggplant. And
I can't say I've ever had a problem, to be honest.
Man, maybe I'm a terrible chef then. But anyway, the Cajun place down the street has some awesome eggplant fries. So it is a must try. So there you go. That's my achievement flex update. Is that you got to try the eggplant fries. So
Okay.
and that's a real update. Speaking of real things, you got any real games for us this week?
I sure do. So as I mentioned, I haven't had time to play a single game. I will say I did fire up the Xbox, move some things around on the hard drive, and downloaded Oblivion Remastered.
Mm.
So, will I make it much further than exiting the sewer? I can't answer that question, but
Is that
I
like
will.
is that something that happens very quick? I've never played this game, so
That's the first half hour of gameplay,
oh, okay,
if that even, probably 15 minutes if you just breeze right through. So yeah, I
gotcha.
figure I'll spend a couple hours with the character creator, and then 15 minutes getting out of the sewers, and then we'll see what happens. But I
You're
do
one-
look forward to playing it on a serious note. That's one I
I
will absolutely dive right back into, and it's free on Game Pass, So
I love that you spend time on the character creator. I can't tell you that I've ever done that. I just hit
have you ever
whatever
played a game that has a character creator?
they pop up very rarely, and if they do, I just hit next, and I just whatever the default
You just hit
character.
random, you get
Yeah, or if I
the
have to choose some, I just hit random, and
you get
the
the
first
7 foot tall Asian male with purple hair.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just roll with it. I've probably spent maybe 5 minutes in my life on character modification
See,
selectors.
you're missing
Not
out.
my thing.
If
Not
I'm
my
gonna be
thing.
spending 50 hours with the character, I need them to be perfect.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
So that said, I was going through my, or backlog's not the right word. That's what we have to play. My completion log, I guess. I didn't actually think of a term for this. Thinking, what could I talk about? What would be a good one? And I found some RPGs, of course, but I've talked about some RPGs lately. And there's that. What am I gonna do? And then I found this one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the one. I need to talk
Oh,
about this one. So
nice,
that
nice.
game, the show notes already spoiled it, I guess. But that game would be BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition.
That's a lot of words.
It is a lot of words. The short version is just BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. It came out on, I think, Steam and PlayStation, and then it came out later on Xbox, and we got the special edition. And to be honest, I don't know what makes it special. I think maybe all the DLC is included. I probably should have done my research a little more, to be completely honest. But that's besides the point. So, BlazBlue, have you heard of the franchise at all, Mr. Roy?
I'll be honest with you, the extent of my knowledge of this franchise is that this game popped up as the one of the it games of a certain G task, and I was saving it for later because it was on Game Pass, so it's inflated. It's a fighting game, so it's probably easy. I don't know. Everyone was using this game for a while, and so I kind of put it in my back pocket, and I was going to use it, and I just forgot about it. So it's in the back pocket. I'm ready to play it in the next one.
Okay, well, it is no longer on Game Pass. You actually took away all the background info I was going to say, but that's fine. It is indeed a fighting game. You know that. Now everyone knows that. And BlazBlue is a series. It goes back, I mean, quite a ways. The first one on Xbox was on 2009, but it's weird because like half the games have come to Xbox and half haven't. So if you're
Mhm.
trying to follow the story just on Xbox, you're gonna have a bad time. That said, who really plays fighting games for the story? And that said, in particular, if you're trying to follow the story in BlazBlue, if you think Kingdom Hearts is convoluted and unnecessarily confusing, BlazBlue is even more. So, like the first game, the characters are established, and then the second game retcons the first game. But then the third game, they go back in time and retcon the second game, and now the first game is canon again. It's bizarre. And then there's like time distortion clones of every character that pop up in future games from different universes. Like some play like the second game, others play like the first game. The story's a mess. I'm not going to talk about the background story of the whole BlazBlue franchise because quite frankly it would be impossible and no one would care. So I'm just going to focus on the standalone story of BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. So, as you mentioned, it is a fighting game. It's made by Arc System Works, are one of the most highly regarded fighting game developers. They make how would I phrase this? All of their games are easy to pick up, and you can like button mash your way to moderate success. But if you want to get good at the game, you're gonna have to put in time, right? But they're not like impossible. Like to me, like Mortal Kombat, if you just go in and button mash, you're gonna do nothing, right? Or like Street Fighter, Street Fighter. If you just, jump in and hit A, or I guess that's jump, right? I forget, whatever. If you just hit X, you're gonna have a bad time. You're not gonna do anything. Or if all you know is one move, you just try and Hadouken your way through, it's not gonna work. So
I might add that Arc System Works are known for quite a few beat 'em ups. So I've played a lot of their games because they have the Double Dragon franchise and
absolutely.
they have all kinds of beat 'em ups that they like to make. So yeah,
Absolutely. Um Actually, yeah, I wasn't even on that wavelength, but you're absolutely right. So that's what I like about them. Every Arc System fighting game you can pick up and sort of button mash and do decently, to the point that I can even get Kelsey to play a couple with me. She even wins button mashing once in a while, which is so frustrating because I'm over here perfecting combos and timing and frame advantage, and she's just pressing triangle and somehow beats me. I don't know. I don't know if that's a testament to the game system or an embarrassing admission of my fighting game skills, because I'm pretty good at fighting games, but I'm losing to button mashers who don't know what but I digress.
it could be witchcraft.
It could be witchcraft, right? So what makes this one cool is it's BlazBlue, but it's not BlazBlue. I assume honestly they rolled a dice and they're like, what main title should we call it? Because about a quarter of the probably like a third of the cast is from BlazBlue. And then this isn't going to math to 100, by the way, but a quarter of the cast is from Persona 4. Another quarter is from Under Night in Birth. And then the last quarter is from Ruby, which, if you guys don't know, Persona 4, I think everyone probably has heard of Persona. They made a fighting spinoff called Persona 4 Arena. That is on Xbox, so we got that one. Under Night in Birth it has never been released on Xbox. So if you haven't heard of that elsewhere, you have no idea where those characters came from. And then Ruby is an anime. They don't have a fighting game. So interesting additions, right? There's also some DLC characters from Senran Kagura, Arcana Heart, and Akatsuki Blitzkampf, but they're not relevant to the main game or story. I saw your face there. Elroy's
Oh,
like, "What? Is he
bless you,
speaking
bless
English?"
you.
No, I'm really not. So
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit, right? Okay, so anyway, I'll start with the story. I won't really spoil it, but I really like the way the story was set up. So it starts off in BlazBlue universe, and there's this like weird like spatial distortion kind of thing, and then you get ported to an arena. And then while you are in the arena planet, is the only way I could describe it. Like it's just this giant arena floating in the middle of nothingness, basically. Um, as the BlazBlue character, you meet System, is the character's name. System is just telling you what to do, and System tells you you need to win the fighting tournament. They call it the Keystone Scramble, and the goal is to eliminate the other teams and get all 4 keystones to yourself, and then you win. So you go through and you have one, and then you meet one of the teams from the other games, and then you beat them and you get the other, and so on and so until you have all 4, and then the story just kind of ends. And at first, it's like, wait a minute, that's a little anticlimactic. But then the menu before you selected story, there were 4 different story options. So you actually play the story from 4 different points of view, 4 different perspectives. So there's Team BlazBlue, Team Persona, Team Under Night in Birth, and Team Ruby, obviously. And the characters are all mixed and matched. And once you complete all 4 of those perspectives, then a 5th story option opens up where they all team up to defeat the bad guy. Does anyone really care if I don't spoil stories normally, right? But you all team up and you defeat the bad guy, and you all go back to your home worlds, and everyone lives happily ever after. And now that there's a multiverse out there, you're like, well, maybe we can meet each other again. and they all become friends, and it's a cutesy happy ending. But you defeated the bad guy, you cured the spatial distortion, and everybody's happy, right? What else is there to say about the story? Does that
I mean, sounds
seem
like a good.
sufficient for you?
Yeah, I'm good. I think I can rest tonight, having known what's going on with the story of
Right.
BlazBlue, the fighting game.
BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
That one, yes.
That one, right. Okay. So, what makes this game unique? Like, why was I so excited when I saw this one that I felt the need to talk about it? The story is whatever, right? The gameplay is what's really cool. So, every character they put in from the non-BlazBlue franchises, they adapted to work in a BlazBlue fighting system, which is pretty cool. So, if you played Persona 4 Arena and you want to continue playing Persona 4 Arena, that's not going to work. But if you're really good at BlazBlue and you just want some new characters, there you go. There's the new characters for you. It's, to be honest, this was actually my introduction to Ruby, and this inspired me to watch the anime. So, they did a good job. The original voice actors and actresses from all four franchises do indeed reprise their roles. So, it's pretty cool how they got everyone together. But gameplay wise, again, what makes it really stand out is it's 2v2 tag teams, but you don't have to stick with the same universe. So you can get Ruby from Ruby, and you can, team her up with Rachel from BlazBlue. What other game can you do that? It's like if you have, Scorpion and Ryu teaming up to take on, I don't know, Mega Man and Mario, but not in a Smash Bros way, right? Like in a very serious fighter kind of way. So beyond the character blending, again, I mentioned the controls are very simple. Anyone can pick up and play this, right? It's you can button mash. There's like an auto combo feature, kind of like Killer Instinct. That's it'll let you have fun. Like even if you're not good at fighting games, you'll still have a blast. You'll still be able to get through the story, do some versus matches. I don't know how well that would manage online. Probably not very well, because at this point the only people playing the game left, would be the gods that play only this game and nothing else, right? So maybe learn some real combos before you go online, but for the story mode and everything else, you'll be fine. You'll be able to get almost all of the achievements button mashing if that is your thing. I will get to that momentarily.
What
Since you do
about?
have a tag, what?
I said, what about like? I mean, with most fighting games, you just do the versus yourself, and then you just. Is that true here, where you just start off
Oh
where
yeah,
you? Okay,
yeah. That's what I mean. I'll get into the achievement
Oh, okay.
sort of
Okay.
spam and cheese in a little bit for sure. But
Okay.
there are like there's tag based combos and swap your partner, all the usual tag based things.
Mhm.
The game's unique mechanic is resonance blaze. I thought I said that wrong. Yeah, resonance blaze. When your partner gets defeated, the remaining tag team partner powers up a little bit. So, sometimes if you're getting low, you want to swap in your partner so that you can keep both health bars relatively equal as they dwindle down. This one, it's actually worth it to just keep your second character full, and then when your first partner dies, you have your powered up character at 100%. So that's a little different change of pace from usual tag team fighters. And then, I mean, I guess I can just dive right into the achievements. So if you pull the list up, I usually have the list up, so I assume you have it. You will notice
Yep.
that there is only one difficulty specific achievement, which is a joke. It's just beat a versus match on normal difficulty. No problem. And there's one online skill achievement. So I will say, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that this game is quite possibly the easiest 930 gamer score in any fighting game. I don't think there's any like easy. Maybe there's like an East Asia soft or a rat fighting game or something that I forgot about, right? But in any, quote unquote real fighting game, easiest 930 or well, wait, because there's like a get all achievements achievement too. I think that one's 100. So the easiest 830 you're gonna get. The last 70 is for reaching silver rank online, so you do actually have to win some matches,
Oh, wow.
but you can perfectly very easily boost it. There is no luck. You go in a ranked lobby, you choose your partner in the ranked lobby. So bring your friend or your alt in and choose your friend, obliterate them. It's 8 to 10 matches, depending on the skill rank difference between you and your opponent. And then you bump up to silver rank. That's it. So if you don't have a boosting partner, again, you're going to have a hard time getting that 70 gamer score achievement. It does have a 4.43 ratio. But again, if you have a boosting partner, laughable. Laughable. As far as the other achievements go, the reason I mentioned the features of the fighting game is kind of what Elroy was getting at. A lot of the achievements are, do resonance finish 10 times, perform a distortion finish 10 times. Those are different special moves. Perform a cross finish 10 times for swapping in your tag partner. And all of those you can do in versus against a dummy second controller just standing there. So that makes that very easy. But it's pretty much do every feature, every fighting game feature a certain number of times. Very easy. The only one that might be challenging is the perfect parry. I forget what they call it. The reject guard. Just because if you're fumbling with both controllers, hitting forward and block at the same time, like with your left hand, and attack with your right hand might be a little tricky, but we've all done it. Let's be honest. You'll find a way to persevere. The major or not the majority, I guess. The rest of the achievements come from the story. You'll get a good chunk of them just for playing all 4 story levels and then the 5th conclusion story. There are a couple online achievements, but again, the only one that'll give you trouble is the reach silver rank. It's like, play your first match, win your first match, view a player's info, send a generic like hello sticker, thing like dance in a lobby, which is just, I think, right bumper to do that. Change your icon, the standard fighting game things. Um, as far as anything that needs skill outside of the online, the only one that pops in is for survival mode for win more than 5 times. So you just have to beat 6 opponents in survival mode, endless mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some spam moves you can do. Follow the guides on TA. You'll be fine. I'm looking at the one now from Mikachu. It has 26 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down. So it makes me think it's probably a pretty good cheese technique.
Yeah,
Right?
but
So
there's 42 achievements, and you're talking about doing everything 10 times. Is like the loading screens, are they like really long or something? I'm just trying to figure out why it's a 6 to 8 hour completion.
because of the
It's just
story
like,
mode.
oh, the story mode. Okay,
Yeah.
got
I mean, well, I should say if you read the story mode and take your time, I did. I thoroughly enjoyed what they had going because I like the BlazBlue universe. I like the
you.
Persona. I wanted to keep track. So I have 12 hours and 49 minutes in the game. I feel like that 6 to 8 hour estimate is people who just mashed A through the story and didn't care. Or you could probably even like skip the story beats entirely and just do the matches. So yeah, I was going to get to that in a minute. But yes, if TA says 6 to 8 hour completion, and as you mentioned with G task, it is 3397 TA, so 2400 TAD. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I can absolutely see why it was the it game for a certain G task to
Yep.
especially since it was on Game Pass. Yeah, it's not on Game Pass anymore,
Yeah, it was one of
but
those weekly ones that just pops up, and then everyone finds out, and then everyone just plays it, and yeah, it's
mhm,
and then you're kind of everyone has to do it, or else you're falling behind, kind of a thing. So
exactly right. Yeah, you got to keep up. But yeah,
right.
honestly, I would say if you just skip all the story beats, how many matches are there? I think there's probably like 10 matches per each of the 4, so 40 matches. And then so there's probably like 45, 50 matches overall for the story mode. Which is pretty decent, right? Each match takes a couple minutes, so that adds up. All the, versus yourself, do the thing achievements you can do in a handful of matches, as long as you plan, like, what am I doing this one? I'm going to block, 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 and then I'm going to do a cross finish. And then, refresh, and I'm going to do a block, block, block. Now I'm going to do my resonance finish. So as long as you plan strategically, you should only need a couple dozen versus matches. You can also do like the resonance finishes across story mode. So if you plan that out, you can be even more efficient with that. Now you kind of have me curious though. So I'm clicking on TA. Of all the people, the estimates are as low as 3 to 4 hours. There's some 4 to 5, some 5 to 6. The majority is 6 to 8. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's some people even quicker. So I'm thinking if you actually know what you're doing in video games or fighting games rather, and you skip the story beats, it would be an even quicker than 6 hour completion. But again, the story's pretty cool. It's worth checking out. I highly recommend it. It
Looks like
is.
you could also preload it because it has that platinum achievement. So you probably keep something simple and then just do one of the little easy ones and then pop them both at the same time, kind of thing.
Oh, for sure. And even like cross finish, you're very deliberately going to do that. You're not going to get one like that by accident. So get
Mhm.
9 of them, save
Right?
it, and then just
Is
do
it
one more. Yeah, yeah. It's very preloadable. Again,
is it
I
track?
don't think that way, but it
Is
is
it
very
track?
preloadable.
Mm,
I don't remember, to be
no,
perfectly honest with you. That's a good question. That would
okay.
certainly make that even easier.
For sure.
But yeah, like I said, the reason I brought this one up is because fighting games, I feel like there's a steep learning curve to fighting games. If you grew up with Mortal Kombat, you're going to stick with Mortal Kombat. If you grew up with Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, whatever, most casual fighting game players want to stick with what they know. So, BlazBlue, what the heck? I'm not going to try it. But, if you have a passing interest in fighting games, I highly recommend this one. If you suck, turn on the combo assist, button mash, get your way through, get your gamer score, your TA, get your completion, find a boosting partner, do the online one, yeah, and have a fighting game completion. But if you just want to enjoy a cool story that you don't need to know the universe background for, it's an excellent place to jump in. And I think they did a very good job honoring all four franchises.
Well,
So
I like Tad, and so since I like Tad, I'll play just about any game that has an unnecessary long title. So,
hell yeah, man. That
so
said, again, it was
and they
on
can do.
Game Pass. It is regularly $50. As a fighting game guy, you could absolutely get $50 of enjoyment and time out of this one. If you are only in it like, ooh, easy achievements, easy completion, I don't need to be good at fighting games, I'll get a boosting buddy. Obviously, don't pay $50. It's gone on sale for $5 quite a few times since leaving Game Pass. Pick it up for $5. It is absolutely, you'll have $5 worth of fun and get your points. So that's my parting word. But honestly, it's one of the better fighting games I've played in quite a while, and I don't know. That's it. I can't recommend
Awesome.
this one enough. I had a blast with it.
Cool. I'll probably play it on one of these dreary nights before a deadline on a certain contest, and there you go. So,
You know what?
well,
Actually, one more thing I will add. If
hmm,
you are looking for, Street Fighter 6 is gorgeous, right? The new Mortal Kombat, all those. If you are looking for the best looking fighting game in the world, that is not this one. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I'm not implying that the graphics are terrible. But the thing with Arc System Works is their mantra is gameplay first, graphics second.
hmm,
So, the graphics aren't going to wow you. They don't look bad, but graphics are very much secondary. You'll get a buttery smooth 60 frames per second, which I do care about in fighting games, right? Everything is nice and smooth and looks good for what it is. But again, if you're looking for, 4K, the best ray tracing, this isn't the game for you. But don't let that deter you. It is a very, very competent fighting game. Everything plays excellent, and it's just fun. Is how I'm gonna conclude. Actually, it's just fun to play. It feels good, even if you don't know what you're doing. It it's just flashy. It's colorful. It's vibrant. It's just fun, and
well,
that's why we play games, right? For fun.
well, well, trust me, I will not let the graphics scare me away
Yeah,
from
yeah. I
harvesting
was not talking to you with
from
that little
harvesting the
disclaimer. Yeah.
tad that needs to get out of that game. So, well, I think we should continue this pre G task helpers guide, and I have a game for you, and
Right.
it's so I thought I should break the streak if not, I was going to talk about Heart and Slash and or some other beat 'em up, but it's I gotta break the streak at some point. So you get the following. You get Meta freaking Ball. All right, it's not a beat 'em up, and it's not my favorite game. So that
Metaball?
be Meta freaking Ball.
Oh, it actually is Meta freaking Ball.
No, it's just Metaball, but it's Meta
What's
freaking Ball. Yeah, Metaball. Yes.
this jerk co-host of mine just left all his things blank. I have no
Oh
idea what
shoot!
game he's talking about. I
Oh my
usually try
gosh!
and do some research ahead of time. He
I
ghosted me this
did. You're
time.
right. I did leave it blank. It took me a while to figure out which one I wanted to talk about, and that was like the last piece. And I think I sent you that. I just didn't know which one I wanted to talk about. So yeah, I decided on Meta freaking Ball. So there you go. And it's not great. But I'm going to say 5 nice things about it. So here.
Okay.
So first, I'm going to give you an overview of it. And basically, it's basket hoops. So you got to put the thing in the thing and go team. And rather than the traditional game as such, there's plenty of basketball games out there. They thought, man, people really enjoyed playing Rocket League. So, Rocket League, that was a hit, right? And sidebar, what's up with the discontinued achievement in Rocket League? I just found out about that. I was looking at Rocket League. I was like, man, I hadn't finished that game. And then I see that there's a discontinued achievement that went down in December, and now I can't get the completion. That sucks. But anyway, if you didn't know about that, there is a discontinued achievement in Rocket League.
I just found that out right now.
I had no idea. So
and
yeah.
I don't have it, so not that I was going to get the completion anyway, because I'm dreadful at Rocket League. But
I was close. I forget. So I just kind of was like, dang it, Rocket League, what are you doing? Anyway, so people thought how much fun they had playing Rocket League before they discontinued one of their achievements, and so they thought, well, let's put the players on some hoverboards. And then we'll give them some weird gloves or something that uses like energy to hold the ball 4 feet away from your body, and they can play basket hoops on hoverboards. And then, that's going to be so much more fun than Rocket League. But okay, it wasn't. That was a good idea in theory, but that's what they were going for. It looks like is that you are just these people on hoverboards playing basket hoops with some weird large ball that you hold away from your body using energy. That's it. That's all there is to this game. And
hang on. So is this like a Back to the Future Marty McFly kind of hoverboard we're chilling on?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, you can't talk about hoverboards without talking about Back to the Future. That was going to be in one of the 5 nice things I was going to mention about it. Yeah.
So we're both stepping on each other's toes in our discussions today. All right.
Which is completely deserved, given that I completely forgot to leave or add something to the document of substance for you. And so with this wonderful basket hoops game called Meta freaking Ball, you can play either ranked or unranked. Now, the achievements unlock on either mode. So that's a special kind of person in that ranked mode lobby, don't you think? But in the unranked mode, you can play either the computer or you can play other people. Again, the achievements unlock on either mode. So just make your way over to co-op versus computer. All right. Now that you're in the right place.
Hang on. Do you know Ron White, the comedian?
Yes. I like Ron White.
Okay, so he has a bit. I'm gonna butcher it probably.
Let's go. I like Ron
White. So he was visiting Greece, and they're at the bottom of a mountain, and they want to go to the top of the mountain, and there's a tram that you could get in, a gondola that just takes you to the top, and next to it is a guy with like a cardboard picket sign and some donkeys, and he comes over to my group and says in his Greek accent that I'm not even going to try, but hello, you can take the donkey or you can take the tram. It is the same price. And let me tell you, I have never heard a worse sales pitch in my life. So you just made me think of that with you can do it the hard way or you can go into co-op. It is right. It's the same reward. Why would you ever do it the hard way? Why would you ever ride the donkey?
Right. Yes. I'm glad we're on the same page here. So, yes, you could do ranked or unranked. Gee, tough question. You can play other people or the in-depth computer. Tough question. All
Right.
right. So now that everyone's in the right place, right? Go ahead and enter the queue. And then guess what? You get placed randomly on a team with 2 other suckers who downloaded this game. Now, the computer's hopeless, as I said, and
Is it really that bad?
yeah, it's designed to make you feel good about your hoverboard basket hoops career.
Oh, jeez.
And they give up very little resistance. And the only resistance that you're going to have in this game comes from your, and I'm going to use very large air quotes, teammates who just mindlessly fight each other for the ball because everyone is either A, going for the achievements, B, thinks they are better than their teammates, C, they're just looking to make a name for themselves in case some hoverboard basket hoop scouts are watching. I'm not really sure what their motivation is. I think they clicked on the wrong lobby. So now, like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, the biggest obstacle is your own teammates because there's only one ball, and
it's starting to sound a little bit like Rocket League after all.
yeah. And in this one, I can't remember in Rocket League, but you can't steal the ball from your own teammate, and so you're at the mercy of the computer, which is not going to take the ball from your teammate, and it's just who wants the ball kind of a thing. And to emphasize this, I am telling you that there is an achievement called Pass Expert for performing 100 passes. This achievement has over a 6 ratio. Literally, you just pass the ball.
Oh my God, he's not actually. He's not joking.
I'm
He's
not.
actually serious.
Yes. So nobody passes the ball. And
That's
you can
awesome.
there's even a button where you call for the ball and it's like over here. And like every once in a while you'll get a teammate that thinks that's how the game is played, where you're going to actually pass the ball, but by halfway through the match they stop spamming the over here button because they realize that it's not going over there. They're going to have to win the ball themselves, and if they want to get any stats. So, yeah. So if you do pass the ball, to pass it 100 times, I guess the other problem is that you have to win the ball 100 times and then just immediately give it to one of your teammates who will never give it back to you. So that being said, now that I've painted this game in a wonderful picture, I'm going to say 5 nice things about it.
Okay. And we already know what one of them is.
yeah, it's coming. Number 1.
I think actually, wait. Can I guess? Is that
Sure.
gonna like spoil?
No,
Okay.
let's go.
It's free. That's gotta be one of the nice things.
Number 1, it's free.
Okay.
So most people can afford that, and over 5,000 track gamers have made this investment. And that's almost half as many who have downloaded Hamster Playground, which is also free and literally is just taking care of digital hamsters. So there you go. Number 1, it's free.
Okay.
What else you got?
That was the only one I wanted to guess. It's free and it has Marty McFly hoverboards. The other 3 are who knows.
Number 5, hoverboards are cool.
Okay.
So yeah, so you guys number 1 and number 5. So by now we were all supposed to have one, but Back to the Future was a little off on that projection. Although I think they do exist. I think that I was doing a little research, and I guess there are hoverboards. I haven't seen them, but I guess they do.
They were like one wheeler. Like it has one wheel, and it feels like you're hovering, but you're not like floating.
Well, I saw it on the internet, so it must be true that.
Well, the internet never lies. Damn.
Right, you're right. So I think they do exist. Yeah, hoverboards exist. So who knew? But yeah, Back to the Future was a little off on them being as widespread, I guess. Yeah. But they did predict Florida winning the World Series, though, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, but you can live out your hoverboard dreams, even though you're forced to use it for the lamest of purposes, which is to play basket hoops with 2 strangers that don't want to be your teammate.
Yeah, right.
So there you go, 1 and 5. So let's circle back to number 2, and number 2 and number 3 combo on my list. Number 2 and 3 is the first one. It's hell of a preload, And that's
I
also
should have
followed.
known.
It's also followed by the achievements track. So
Okay,
if you
okay.
have any competitions that start with and end with then coming up, then put this on.
What could that possibly be?
Yeah. And put this on whatever list you use to prepare for such a terrible event. You didn't realize we're doing a pre GTAS
No,
special
who
today.
knew? I apparently unwittingly walked right into this.
Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be helpful for somebody someday, right? But
Or
you
like
can
you in a month.
right. So you can get the pass expert for passing 100 times in player versus player, which also counts for co-op versus computer. There's an achievement called sharpshooter for 100 3-pointers. There's a scoring holic achievement for 100 2-pointers. There's a first class sniper achievement for 100 power shots, which is basically just swinging the thing over your head like you're like a crazy person and slam dunking it, I guess. So with all those, you can get 1300 TAD, and that is completely controllable and tracked by you. So get, like 90, about 90 of them, and then stop and then work on the next one. You're not going to accidentally do it. So yeah, you get 90 of those things accomplished, and you got 1300 TAD saved up right there. But let's say you like defense. Well, do I have a deal for you? You
Oh
get
boy.
10 saves. All right. Basically block the computer, which it's you may actually have to go into player versus player that people are actually shooting, not the computer just sitting around watching you glide around on your hoverboard. But you can get 10 saves. You get the I'll block them all for another 200 TAD. So 10 saves is not very hard at all. And by doing all this, you get like points for the match. So if you're able to outscore your greedy teammates, you'll every once in a while, like they'll drop out and they'll get replaced with a computer person, which is cool, because then you'll get the best stats.
Does
And
the computer play the game as intended and like actually pass and stuff?
yeah, that's their weakness. They like
So,
they like each other. They like each other, and that's where they went wrong.
so ideally you want your teammates to bail on you.
Um, yeah, I guess you kind of do want it makes it really easy to get the 10 wins in a row achievement, because if you have like a teammate that's played the game before, they're going to win the game. You don't even have to do anything. You probably just sit there and watch them. But yeah, but that's another achievement. But if you do actually have to do something, you can get the MVP achievement for being selected MVP 30 times. That just means you had the best stats for 30 of the games. It's really not hard to get selected MVP. That's another 500 TAD. You can lock up, like get that up to 20 something, and then bada bing, bada boom. So with some minimal gameplay, and if you use the trackers to your advantage, you get them all, 90% ready to drop when you need them. So unless this meta freaking ball goes Cartwright or drift, then you got 2000 TAD at your fingertips. So hopefully, they don't, just poop the bed and and just shut down early and leave you high and dry with your wonderfully full trackers on the achievements. So there you go. That's number 2 and 3. I do have one more for you. That is number 4.
I was gonna say, I thought, okay,
Yeah.
you did 5 and then 2, 3, and I was like,
Not do
man,
one
like,
first.
did
1,
I did I
5.
did I miss 4? Okay,
Yeah, we
whew,
did one.
okay,
We did
you had me like,
yeah, 1, 5, 2, 3 combo platter. I know it. So let's get to number 4. Number 4 is the Golden Ball Adept Achievement. This is one of the many tracked or cumulative achievements in it. This is for scoring 10 times with the golden ball. Ooh, the golden ball. So in Metafreaking Ball, they have a golden ball, and to get the golden ball in Metafreaking Ball, you have to let the game go to a tie. And actually, there's another achievement tied to it. It's called "I'm the Star of the Golden Ball," which is to do it one time. But yeah, so you'll have to spin that achievement to get this one preloaded. So for this one, basically you go to overtime and then don't let anybody score, and then you score the tiebreaker, and then once the golden ball spawns, and then you get some progress towards the achievement. So why is this one a reason to play it? I just loved reading the guide for this. So there's a guide for the Golden Ball Adept, and there's a post by Was I That Bad? And he writes, felt so bad for my teammates while I did this. I would just grab the ball and do circles in the center so the bots couldn't tackle me, and your teammate can't take the ball from you. So they either had to leave the game or sit there for the whole match and do nothing while I ran down the clock. So I just love the idea of just you're already just everyone's just being the worst teammates ever. And so you're just literally just running around in circles, trying not to let the computer catch you, which is not hard to do. And your teammates are just like, what is going on with this guy? He has had the ball for 3 minutes and he has done nothing with it. And so I don't know. I just think it's pretty funny. So just the Golden Ball Adept achievement, that's a good reason to play it. So there you go.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I got some not nice things to say too.
Okay. I was gonna say it reminds me of the achievements in like old multiplayer games where like, as like the leader, like run out and punch someone to death. So, you'd have like 4 people on your team that are like strategic and planning and like squat, like they're on mic. And then there's me as the leader, just throw my gun and, run to the enemy to try and punch someone. And I'm sure they're cursing me out, like, you're gonna lose. Like, what are you doing? You're the leader, I'm like, I just want my achievement. Like, I literally don't care about you or multiplayer. I just want my achievement, man,
Leroy Jenkins, the achievement hunter.
Absolutely. Specifically, there was one in Gears of War where when you were down but not out, you could queue up a grenade. So you would commit suicide, but the grenade would blow up anyone near you. I think the achievement was called like a parting gift or something.
Nice.
So I was deliberately just running, like diving right at the enemies so they could shoot me, so that I could try and blow myself up with a grenade. And I got so many nasty messages like, "Bro, don't you know what cover is?" Like,
nice.
they're like, "Yeah, I put covers over your mom last night," because those are the appropriate responses.
Indeed, yes. I mean, what else you gonna do with that, right? So,
so yeah, there's me single-handedly bringing down my whole team score for 15 gamer score.
You know what? You convinced me. Don't play Meta Freaking Ball. Just go play Gears of War. Yeah, I'm sold. So, but still nice for a little preload. The G Tactics exclusive this pod. So, not nice things. The game's not fun to play. The characters are creepy, and it's a waste of hoverboard technology. There you go. Nice and simple. I don't know what's up with the characters, man. I don't know. They're supposed to be kids, but they kind of tried to make them look sexy or something. I don't know. It's just
that's
creepy.
Awkward.
It is. It's just creepy, man. I don't know.
All right. I want to see the characters.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Maybe you can modify the characters and make them not look creepy, but the default characters were kind of creepy. I'll be honest. So
I kind of see what you mean. They are a very young aesthetic with like very bold features.
Yeah, very pouty lips and stuff.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know if I would call them sexy, but I see what you mean.
They're trying to make them sexy, I think. I don't know. It's just something creepy about them. I don't know.
It is. Yeah, we're on the same page. I agree with you.
Well, and no matter what they look like, the game is not fun to play. So there's that. There is that, and it's still a waste of hoverboard technology. So yeah,
I don't know, man. If they invent hoverboards, like people are going to play sports on them. So
that's true. I guess maybe they're
just ahead of the curve.
Yeah, need those energy gloves though, but are not explained. I think I don't know. Anyway, it's great preload though. Tracks. Did I mention that?
You a couple? I believe that was what, number 2?
I think that was 3 technically.
That was 3. Okay.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, 2 was that. Yeah, it's a hell of a some good tad and everything. Anyway, what about some quick baby games? I'm sure you can beat Meta Freaking Ball with just about anything.
Yeah. Okay, so we all know this one. I'm gonna bring up a classic because there's a story that goes with it. So none other than Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth is is my baby game of choice. Now, to clarify, literally everybody on my friends list who has played this game has completed this game. Um, what's even weirder than like that's cool. Like, how often does that happen? Every one of my friends, all 44 that I have on TA, have completed this game. What's really interesting is that there's about 4,200 people on TA that have played this game that have not completed it, which I don't actually even know how that's possible because you just mash the B button, right? We all
No,
know this game.
you just stop mashing the B button before you get the
I
last combo, I think.
But I feel like if you hit it once, like I
Mhm.
don't think the last achievement's a hit counter of 50, but I don't think you have to hit it 50 times. Like I think the combo sort of continues. So I think even if you were to stop at 40,
I kind of have a story on
combo
this.
might finish. Oh, anyway,
What?
yeah, tell your story.
All right, so I have my nephew, my actual nephew, is he, we game together so we can sit upstairs and not be forced to talk to family during Thanksgiving and stuff.
That's
And
the way to do it.
I've mentioned before, and so I just thought it'd be funny for him to play this and get 1,000 gamer score real fast. Give him appreciation for the old school gamer score, easy game. And so we fired it up, and I was just like, all you gotta do is smash that button. It took him 6 tries.
Oh
He
my
got
gosh.
he couldn't get the 50 combo, and I'm just like,
Are you
I
serious?
yeah, I was like, I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, why can you not get this? This is not hard." And so, it started over, set through part of the cutscene, "All right, here they come out of the temple. All right, just hit the button," and he just couldn't do it. I don't know. It was weird. So
That is interesting. I'm looking at my own timestamps on this, and combo of 10 at 3:32 p.m., combo of 20 at 3:32 p.m., combo of 30 at 3:32 p.m. The minute must have changed because there's no way this took me over a minute because 40 and 50 are at 3:33 p.m.
yeah.
It definitely didn't take me a full minute, so there's some rollover there. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up, again, if you don't know, you literally just mash B and get a hit counter of 50 on the very first enemies in the game in the tutorial. They can't die, so you can just get an infinite combo, and that's it. Like the developers put negative effort into the achievement list. So it is available digitally, and it is backwards compatible. It's available for $20. A disc is actually slightly more expensive than that. I will get to that in a moment.
Mm.
Um, but it goes on sale digitally for I think $3, maybe $4 on really every big sale. So if you have not played this one for whatever reason, you know,
And played. Can we
play
like
it, right?
some air quotes around that
Oh
played?
yeah, yeah. No one's actually played this game, right? I don't know, but anyway, that brings me to my story. So I had a mom come into the shop, and I'm laughing because I laughed in the woman's face, and then I felt bad, and I had to clarify, and I had to explain achievements to this
Oh,
mom who had no yeah. So anyway, she comes in. And she's like, "Oh, my son, he's like 6 years old. He's really gotten into Avatar. Do you have any Avatar games?" And I'll be honest, my mind did not go to The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth. It went to like the blue people, like James Cameron's Avatar. So I
mm.
said, well, there's a like the Far Cry like game that just came out. What is it? Skies of Pandora, right? I was like, well, there's that one. We don't have it though because it's kind of new. We do have the game on 360 called James Cameron's Avatar about the Blue People universe, right? So I showed her that, and she said, "Oh, no, not this. Like the cartoon Avatar." At which point, I literally laughed in her face. She like looked at me funny. I'm like, I'm so sorry. We I had to recompose myself. I was like, okay, so I'll give you the short version. There's a game on Xbox which we have actually. It was $26, I think. I mean, it's weirdly pricey. I was like, we have it. It's on Xbox. Do you know achievement? She did not. I was like, so you do things in games and you get imaginary internet points, and this game is known as the achievement game. Like all the achievement hunters have played it. This woman's looking at me like I have 17 heads. Like, what is an achievement? What is gamer score? And like, I gave her the short version. Like, I'm really trying to help her out here. I was like, ultimately, it's not going to matter for your kid. You know, he's just 6 and he just wants to play Avatar. By all accounts, it's a pretty decent game, and you know, he might get some achievements. Like if you it's like if you see something pop up on the screen, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, and she's still just looking at me like I'm the dumbest person on the planet. Like she came in to buy a video game, and I just gave her a crash course of 20 years of achievement hunting. And oh my, yeah, it was something. She did end up buying the game, and it was $27 or $28 for a complete in box copy. And I don't know if she left more informed than when she walked in, but hey, little Johnny is gonna be happy with his Avatar game. And sorry, I'm cracking up just reliving this in my head because I've never felt since I've worked at the shop, I've never felt more ridiculous than I did at that. Like I just kept digging the hole deeper for this poor woman and trying
Oh.
to explain. I should have just said, yes, Avatar, here's the game. It's $27. It's a it's a beat 'em up, you know, and just left it at that. But
Yeah,
you know, I can't if someone talks about this game, they gotta give them the whole scoop.
I
So
understand. Yeah.
that's my baby game of the week. We all know about it, but Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Burning Earth. Don't send your mom or your grandma to buy it for you, please.
I like the top review for the game. If you look off to the side, it says,
Oh, there are better games available.
"Well said, King Rich. Well said." Oh man, yeah. So anyway, that is actually the 10th most played beat 'em up on the 360. It's I just looked it up. I was like, I wonder how. Yeah, it's got.
I'm surprised
Yeah,
it's not number one because the beat 'em
yeah.
up crowd obviously wants it, and the achievement hunter crowd wants it.
Well, because of Batman. I mean, yeah, yeah, Batman,
True,
Batman.
true.
I think Batman's like 1 through
And all
9.
7 versions of Batman. Yeah, fair
Shoot.
enough.
Well, speaking of beat 'em ups, I couldn't go a whole episode without talking about beat 'em up. So, and this was actually an update where we were talking about how
I
Phantom
You did
Breaker
fill this in
on
on the
the three.
doc, so I was able to do some research.
Yeah, right. So that was on the 360, and you said you didn't get to play it, and then you looked it up, and lo and behold, it was about to come out. Now it's come out.
It
So
is out, yes.
yeah, and I assume you haven't made the $25 investment yet.
Again, I have not played games in 2 weeks, but no, honestly, this is one I'll
Mm,
pay $25 for it.
okay.
Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
I will too, and I did, and I think I was eighth person to finish it. I think ultimately, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't
sweet.
understand that leaderboard thing. How you like will start at like number, some really high up on it. I guess people just scan in late or something. I
I was
don't
gonna
know,
say
but
the issue is people who might play offline, and then the
yeah,
timestamps pop in retroactive, or if you don't have Pro and you finish it, you're not gonna get scanned for like 24
right.
hours or something.
Mm.
I've been burned on
Oh, I have too.
two games where, hey, I'm the first one to complete it,
Hmm.
and then a couple days later, oh, I'm the second one to complete.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yep.
two times that's happened.
Yeah, it happened to me on Strong Moon. That was unacceptable. And like the dude that somehow got number one above me did it in a time that was not realistic. And
Oh,
yeah, let's see. I mean, I just want to besmirch the good name of
while you're
of
looking that up, mine was Demetrios. I was the first one to
uh
do it, but then someone had a review copy and like beat me by like a week. Like that
mm,
sucked. And then one of the Jackbox, I honestly I don't remember which one to be completely honest, but one
mm.
of the Jackbox, I was actually number one, and now I'm not number one.
Well, this one I took 20 hours to finish this thing, and then Mr. Elks 98 with 2Ks finished it in 2 hours and 43 minutes because that makes sense. And finished it
Yeah,
the day it came out. Yeah, and
that's a little
that.
sketchy.
Yeah, and I just noticed that Wakapale was the 10th person to finish it. He sent me a message when he had finished it because this game I promoted well. Waka did it in just shy of 7 hours. And this is after there's a lot of guides available and such. But this guy finished it on day one in like 3 hours. Yeah, I'm not sure he did. Anyway, back to
Well,
Phantom Breaker.
yeah, it's Jackbox Party Pack 10, which I haven't looked at in a while. I'm somehow actually now the fourth one to complete it, despite having a
Wow.
screenshot of me saying I am the first one on TA to complete it.
Do
Somehow
better, man.
I'm number 4, and everyone who beat me is 3 days ahead of me. So
Oh,
that's
nuts.
interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up. But anyway, I digress. Phantom Breaker
Yeah,
Battlegrounds Ultimate.
it is. It's annoying. I'm with you 100% on this. So yeah, that's a little side annoyance, I guess, that we dive in there. But now you got me wanting to look up the two that I know I'm number one in and see if
Uh-oh.
somebody just emerged out of nowhere. That's Knights of the Revenant and that kickball game. But I was yeah. Anyway, so Phantom Breakers Battlegrounds Ultimate. This is basically the same game that came out in the 360, and it's just a redo of it, reissue, I guess, remastered. It doesn't say remastered; it says Ultimate, so I guess it's kind of remastered. But if you played the original, the game is the exact same. I've played both, and it's the exact same. The good news about this one is that they got rid of that stupid achievement I told you that they better get rid of, which is the one where you have to grab all the coins on the way down. Now, they do have a couple of differences, like right there with the coins, they added like a crap ton of coins. And so it's more of a bonus stage type atmosphere where you're not just trying to strategically grab like a single line of coins. They put like 6 rows of coins and you can't possibly grab them all. It's just, try to grab as many as you can. So there's little things like that. And then they added a whole new interface to it where it kind of plays like a fighting game in a way where you choose your fighter and then you go in and just do beat 'em up stuff. But it is kind of cool. The one thing I really liked was that they made it where you could choose any character to play with. And by any character, I mean like anything that they made sprites for, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
And so my favorite character, I'll be honest, was the truck. There's like this ginormous truck that just runs in the background and they have enemies jump out of it. And so you're like this truck that like jumps up and down. You like ram people and jump up and down on them.
What is this, Age of Empires 2?
Right. Yeah. It was like the Terminator. Right. So, right. That's kind of, I don't know. I played with the truck way too much as I was doing clean up on the achievements.
How does a truck beat people up? Are like the wheels
it rams
arms?
them? Yeah, it rams them and then it jumps on them too.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
See, now you've made me want it even more. I already knew I wanted it, and now I really want it.
Yeah, so when you get to the extra characters, definitely check out the truck. I mean, there's obviously a lot better characters, but the truck's definitely the most fun. So, but yeah, this game's pretty easy. That actually has 1,500 gamer score as opposed to the traditional 1,000. There's a lot of gamer score that they put into the online modes. There's 3 achievements. One's a 6-person party. One's for just clearing a stage on online multiplayer, and then there's one for winning a versus battle on multiplayer. It's easy enough. Like I was kind of sweating that I'll be able to find one because there's all kinds of connection issues with it. Like, or at least there was when it first launched, and where there's one that was terrible. I finally found a group of 6 and I got in there and we were just working our way through the stage, and then it crashed like 3/4 of the way through the stage. I was like,
actually, I just pulled up the solution for that. You can do it with 5 AI characters.
Oh yeah, well this one some dude was doing that, and it was like 4 AI and him, and then somehow I got in his group, and I was like,
jeez.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's all right. So that makes it easy. Okay. So yeah, it's most of the game's real easy to get the achievements. The only one that's kind of grindy that I think will ultimately have the highest ratio is the kill one. That was the last one I got. And that's for killing 5,963 enemies. I don't know what's significant about that number, but
I was gonna say I like Dead Rising had like 50,000 whatever.
Right, the population.
And then what Left 4 Dead added +1, Prototype added +2. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought the Dead Rising was the population of the city or something. Or one of them was.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, literally, you killed everyone in town.
Right, you killed. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
All right, I don't know
there
what
were a
this
couple games that piggybacked off that actually.
Yeah. So this one, who knows what it's for, but you can get the achievements all real easy, and that one just takes a little bit of time. So I ended up spending 7 hours on it. You could probably shave some time off of that. Because a
How
lot
much
of
of the
my
story did you skip to do that?
oh well, I've played it before, and
Oh,
yeah.
well, I just skipped
So
all the story. How much of the story did you skip the first time you played it?
well, that's beside the point.
Well,
But
we don't need to talk about that.
I mean, this story is I don't even know what it is. I couldn't even tell you what the game's about. And it's something about you get like sucked into a nightmare or something. I don't know. Whatever. It's weird. But yeah, Venom Breaker Battleground Ultimate. That's one to check out if you uh, didn't get to play it the first time for sure.
Like I said, I very much look forward to that.
Well, yeah. So very quickly, we gotta get this off the dock because it's been on there for weeks, and last time we did that, it took way too long to circle back to it. So when when
Now he
guy
cares about the dog.
right. So I was gonna mention something about like a terrible experience I had with a guide where it's just so discouraging when someone makes a guide and you follow it to a T, and then you get to the certain like near the end of the game, and like what you're doing is completely different than what is on the guide, and you followed it like this was a video guide. So I was playing Brock the investigator. He's like a gator, like a crocodile or an alligator. So get it? Investigator.
Okay, all right, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
To
Okay.
be honest,
So
I didn't, but okay.
yeah,
I'm
Brock
not
the
laughing. I get it, but
right. So it's a point and click beat 'em up, if you believe it. So it's all right. It's a real story based game. There's very little beat 'em ups in it, but there's a guide online. It's like a 3 hour guide, and you can follow it and get all the endings and the achievements. So I was following that, and I got to about, oh man, I would say like 2 hours and 45 minutes in, and it was time for my first ending, and the screen wasn't even the same screen. I don't even know what happened. And there's no commentary on the screen. It's just like, just do this, and you just follow what the guy's doing. And so now I don't even have a clue. I'm gonna go back and salvage this. And so I'm probably gonna have to do a fresh restart and find a different guide and what have you. But it was just so discouraging. I was ready to get the completion. I was like 45 minutes away. Nice. I mean, it's like, I don't know, like 2000 TAD. I mean, it was a nice little, game. But anyway, the guide let me down. And it was so depressing, especially on a point and click game, because I mean, it's so easy just to
right.
follow. You just click on the same stuff, and that's what I did. I have no idea where it went wrong, but anyway, there you go. I just wanted to mention that. So if you're going for the completion on Brock the Investigator, and I didn't even know who did the walkthrough, but it was like a 3 hour one. So don't do that one. Find a different one. There you go.
Okay. Well, in our doc, Elroy put, for our random gaming talk section when guides go bad. And I'm going to piggyback on that because of one of my favorite Discord moments of all time. Some of you who were involved might remember this. Some of you who were involved might not remember it, but this lives rent free in my head. Every time I find any error in this guide, this whole conversation just repeats itself. So, Elroy, I don't know if you know this. I
Probably
forget,
not.
to be honest, how it started. It did not start with me, but that's where it starts in my head. Make of that what you will. But anyway, so I responded and I was like, "Oh, yeah." I'm reading verbatim off my phone here, right? So I said, "This is what month is 10? Wow, October 16th, 2023." That I'm not proud of that. So anyway, I said,
Long week.
yeah, for real. The most frustrating guide I've seen on TA was for a game that wasn't necessarily a puzzle game, but included some puzzles. And to its credit, the guide does a great job of pointing out collectibles and getting you to the puzzles, but then it just says things like, I'll let you figure out the puzzle on your own, and resumes after its completion, like, dude, I'm following your guide to tell me how to do these puzzles. That's why I'm reading your guide. So then we got in, or continued, right again. I didn't start the conversation, just a conversation about bad guides and what makes guides bad. And Mental Night 5, this is the part that lives in my head. So Mental Night, when you get to this, I love you, buddy. So again, reading verbatim off my phone here. Go up the stairs and turn right. Goes upstairs and turns right. You'll find a bench with a newspaper you can pick up. Picks up newspaper. Do not touch that newspaper or you will have to restart your playthrough. Damn it! Follow up. Okay, I'm not falling for that again. In the hallway, you'll see a door with a black star next to it that you can push. Okay, I'm not pushing a damn thing. Simon didn't say. Find a blue beaker in the back of the classroom. What classroom? I'm in the hall. Oh, this time I was supposed to do the thing you said I can do? Get out of the car and go into the movie theater. Gets out of car, enters theater. Before you do, make sure you equip the shield of pedantry or you will have to restart your playthrough. God damn it! And you're so we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, God, you gotta go step by freaking step, man. Like, that's the worst though. Like, don't do this thing that you
All right. Yep.
So yeah, mental, you don't even know this, but your message is there. They live rent free in my head. I want you to know that, and I hope you appreciate that. Every time someone mentions a bad guide, I just go right back to there, and I search for pedantry, and it's weirdly not the only entry in the entire Discord, but I find it easily enough by searching for pedantry. So there it is. When guides go bad,
a valuable addition that. Shoot. Well, I don't know. I don't think the Game Pass news is that great. So why don't we just move on to fun milestones?
Nah, you know what? To Ellen Wild Wild West's credit, they do Game Pass every other week. If you want Game Pass updates, listen to the even episodes. How's that? There's our Game Pass update. Listen to last week or next week. There you go.
Yeah, they do a great job. We'll let them handle that. So I mean, I got a fun milestone for you. Just because I don't want to follow yours there. So Lucas 1987. He on the 19th of April, I was monitoring TA for something. I can't remember. I was doing casual whatever. And boy, he was like filled up my entire feed. It was one of those days where you're like, dang, that person is scoring some points today. Well, I went back and looked, and he scored 57,000 like gamer score on that date, 60,000 TAD or TA. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good. It was like his third best day ever. And so I asked him, like, well, you know, was there a special occasion or you just felt like? He's like, yeah, I was chasing the action adventure leaderboard for a while, and I just wanted to get back to something that felt like me or something like that, to score an obscene amount of gamer score. So anyway, so props to Lucas 1987. I know how hard it is to score, 57,000 gamer score, given that I tried rolling out of bed scoring 100,000
I was going to say, how much did you get on your epic quest there? What was the number?
I don't think it might have been around that much. It was, let's see, I remember failing badly. So yeah, that was so.
You were going for 100 though, right?
I was going for 100 and it did not happen for me.
I don't remember your number, but I remember you saying,
"Oh, there you go. I found it."
And I came up just a little short at 45,000 or something like that.
Hey, 52,990.
I came up just a little short.
That's practically 53,000. So, so yeah. So I scored my 53,000, and apparently Lucas can just fall out of bed and score 60,000. So there you go. Yeah. So that's my milestone. Yeah, for Lucas 1987. Good job on that day.
All right. Well, I have a very cool, very special one. Sangrias. Everybody knows sangrias. Everybody loves sangrias. Hit 5 million gamer score on April 14th, 2025. I probably didn't need to specify the year, but April 14th. Just when does this podcast come out? That's going to be 2 weeks before listening. So in between the last time we recorded and now. Otherwise it would have been on whatever. Ignore the timing, right? He was the 6th person on TA, presumably the 6th person in the world. Let's be honest here. Anyone with 5 million gamer scores on TA, right?
You would think.
You would think, right? So yeah, 5 million gamer score, sixth person in the world. Pretty darn. There's actually seven now, believe it or not.
Mhm.
Sangria's he was number 6 on April 14th, and then somebody else was the seventh 2 days later on April 16th. It was like, wow, what? That's kind of cool. But anyway, he earned his 5 million with a very fitting achievement called Chosen One, and then he wrote a little blog post, and I want to quote this because I quite like this. So he did his achievement to become the chosen one, and then he wrote, "It's not just me, but I think everyone who is having fun achievement hunting, enjoying and reaching milestones, we're all chosen ones. It's all that matters in the end is that we're having a good time." I was like, that's very humble. That's very down to earth. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm number 6 in the world, but I'm having fun doing it, and as long as you're having fun doing it, you'll catch up with me someday. I like that. It was humble. It wasn't braggy. Not to say anyone else has been braggy, right? I don't mean it that way. Um, but yeah, it was just very, very modest, very humble. And Sangria's is in our Discord. I haven't chatted with you in a while. I don't think you listened to the show, but good job, man. For real, good job. That's crazy. I will never do that. Elroy will someday.
I just remember interviewing him. I think it was when he hit 3 million, and
Was it? I was gonna say 2.5. Was it
it
3?
might have been two. I can't
Okay.
remember. Yeah, it was big back then. That was now those numbers are. I mean, you got some 3,000 gamer score games now, so so
Only 3?
oh,
There's some
but
6,000 gamer
six,
score
yeah.
games.
Well, like I mean, that's just before the title updates. They just released them now, it seems. But yeah, but he was really cool to speak with. I just remember it was hard to figure out like the time to meet because he's in South Korea and
Yeah.
we were trying to coordinate a time and it was challenging. But yeah, really cool guy. I like him, and he was fun to talk with and interview. And yeah, I don't know what level that was, but it was a
Somebody
while back.
somebody will find out for us.
All right, it was a while back, so that's cool. So congrats to him. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, major, like I said, big congrats. 6th one in the world on 5 million. You have earned every bit of it, Mr. Sangrias,
mhm.
with a
And
Z. Sangrias with a Z.
yes, of the hidden levels. So he
Hello. I like he
he
always starts his videos the same. Hello.
yeah.
That's not at all his accent, but
I was say, did he move or no? The
that sounded a little bit like Swedish Chef, not at all like Korea,
yeah,
but whatever. Whatever.
yeah. So with his 5 million gamer score, he deserves a break, which all of us do. So thank you all for listening. Class dismissed.
No, no, no. You can't take your break until you know the top 3 female characters, otherwise known as best girls, in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Number 3, Yukiko Amagi from Persona 4. Number 2, Ruby Rose from Ruby. And number 1, obviously, Noelle Vermillion from BlazBlue.
Well, I'm gonna go a little off the board with the top 3 things you didn't hear because of the editing. Number 3.
Everything is not okay.
Number 2.
I didn't want to keep talking if your house is on fire or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Number 1.
Hello, cat. Do you like my soda stash?
All right, guys. I think that's it.
See ya. Leroy!